everyone, my name is Kim, and we are going to talk about the INFPs. When they're under stress, they go into grip and they go into a loop. So INFPs, they hold on to very strong moral ideals. And they are very caring people, very empathetic, very creative. Yeah, they're very creative. A lot of them go into music or some other, or painting or some other art form to express their maybe how they feel. Because they're all about self-expression, so expressing themselves through painting or through their music or whatever creative means that they express themselves. All right, so let's talk about their grip. And so they're in the TE grip. Okay. So when they're in the TE grip, they can be very critical of themselves and they can be critical of others. When they're in this grip, TE, they're bypassing some functions. Like for instance, their FI, their dominant function. FI is all about moral, having a moral compass. And INFPs are very cognizant of this. For every decision that they make in life, they go to their FI. And when they're making a decision on something, they make sure that it aligns with their FI values. So when they're in the grip, they're bypassing their dominant function. They have deeply held values. Say, for instance, authenticity, self-expression, that sort of thing. So yeah, they're bypassing FI. FI is, it helps them to have some standards, some values that they hold deeply. So what I mean by that is that if they're faced with something that that is trying to make them go against their morals or their values, they're going to dig in and they're not going to budge. That's how they are. They hold firmly of their values, their morals. Yeah. So yes, they're bypassing FI. They are bypassing SI, introverted sensing. And introverted sensing is helps them with to have more of a more of a routine, and structure and to plan things out. So that's SI. They've bypassed that, INFPs, when they're in the grip. So they bypass FI and SI. Also, they bypass their extroverted intuition. And this function, it really, like I said, they are creative people. And so they get their inspiration, their creative inspiration from extroverted intuition. They get these creative ideas, what kind of music they want to make, or what type of painting they want to paint, or just any kind of creative endeavor. INFPs they're really deep into that. Or, writing a book, and so when INFPs are in the TE grip, they're bypassing their NE, which gives them a plethora of creative ideas, So, and also when they're in this grip, like TE is all about efficiency, and so when they're in this grip and in TE, it's everything, too extreme. Everything, it's gotta get things done, efficiently, and what's the most efficient way, and so they think too much about, efficiency and maybe too extreme, putting structure in their lives, like very rigid, kind of a rigid structure. So that's TE. That's the TE grip. I think I could pretty well mentioned all the functions that they bypass. Yes, I have. Okay, so let's get into when they're under a lot of stress. Let's get into their loop, and that is the FI-SI loop. So they're in two introverted functions. And so when they're in the FI-SI loop, they focus way too much on experiences, past experiences. They start to withdraw, from people when they're in the loop, the FI-SI loop. And so when they're in the FI-SI loop, they're not using extroverted intuition, their means that gives them, all these creative ideas, because, they're creative people, and they're all about self-expression, that all that has to do with creativity. So yeah, they focus too much on experiences. They are not open to new perspectives. Generally, when they're healthy INFPs, they are very accepting of new perspectives. NE is what makes them, open to new perspectives. Yeah, that's the job of NE, and so when they're in the FI-SI loop, they're bypassing TE. They're not using TE, so they're just, FI-SI, so they're just really mainly focusing on their morals and values, like too extreme, and their extroverted intuition is being neglected, because extroverted intuition and TE, even though they have it on the bottom, they can still use it, in tandem with NE. NE provides the ideas, and TE is the one that implements them. So in this loop, INFPs are not able to implement their creative ideas, to put them out in the world. Because FISI, those two functions are not about efficiency, implementing their ideas. They are not about accepting new ideas, because they're bypassing their NE. So there's no new ideas. They're not, and they're known to be explorers of ideas. When they have an idea, they like to go and explore it. They like to go down on rabbit holes and just do a deep dive. When they get these brilliant creative ideas. But unfortunately, with just using FI and SI, they are losing out, in their creativity. They're not creative anymore, They don't focus on that when they're in this loop. And they don't focus on TE, getting things done, getting their ideas out in the world. So they're bypassing those two functions. I think I have mentioned the functions that they bypass. It's just TE and NE. Okay, that is the grips and loops for INFPs. When they're under stress, they will fall into the TE grip or the FISI loop. All right. I hope this information will be useful, for all those INFPs out there. If they ever experience, the TE grip or the FISI loop, I hope maybe this information can help you to recognize when you're under stress, that you will fall into a grip or you will fall into a loop, whatever the case is. I hope that this information will help you. And I hope you guys have a good rest of the day. And I'm going to say goodbye.